we are so delighted and honored to have him here with us today. Please welcome President Emeritus and classmate Paul Verkuil.
Thank you, Karen. What a great day. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak and to talk to us about what it was like. Now, I have a unique perspective. You appreciate. I was here when we were all here. I was here in the 25th anniversary, which we came back and shared together right over there in the President's house. And now, of course, I'm here. So I've got this. I'm not giving this up. And I know that this class is special. One of the reasons it's special is because of me. Every class doesn't get a college president. I got to tell you that. So thank you for that. And now there are other things why we're special. First of all, a little Arcania, 1961. That's a palindrome. You read it frontwards, backwards, upside down. It's the same. Means we always make progress. We're never out of step. And another reason this yard is so important to us. We actually graduated, commenced here, for real. And now everyone is stuck in William Mary Hall, as you know. And in our day, there was a real Lord Bodytot. He got taken away in 1958, right after we started. And in our first year, you know, to show how important our freshman orientation was, Queen Elizabeth showed up to welcome us. Right from there. And, you know, she would have been here this weekend, but she had a conflicting engagement. But this is the Westminster Abbey of the colonies. I mean, this little triangle, this is the most historic academic place in America. And we all enjoyed it, and we lived in it because we were so close and the campus wasn't so large. So now we are at a point, I think, where we can talk a little bit about what our life was. And I tried to put it in perspective. I really think we were living in times of innocence relative to all the years that have passed. You know, one thing that comes to mind is how much we related to each other through our fraternities or sororities. You know, we always said, oh, there's so-and-so. What fraternity was he in? Or there's, oh, what sorority was he? You know, it was a much more dominant force in our lives than it is now, or it was even 25 years ago. But I always liked, you know, we had our favorites, the Pi Phis, the Kappa Gammas, I particularly I must shout out to the Tridelts who fed me, and along with the Tridelts and the King's Arms, I was able to pay my tuition to this place for 4 years. And then on the fraternity side, I was a Pi Lam, and you know, the KSAEs and the KAs, and then that special fraternity, which has already been mentioned, the Sigma Nu's. Now, they really aren't a fraternity, they're a cult. Because, you know, when Mike calls them to order, they all show up. Well, in our sophomore year, I think it was, an important, you may have forgotten this event, it was maybe the last panty raid in the history of American higher education. And I remember us all, you know, you can believe how long ago that was, when we all raced over to Landrum and all those dorms over there. And I remember President Chandler, and he had this Doberman, I think. He was out there in his bathrobe taking names, and Dean Lambert was following behind him. You know, they took this very seriously. It was a total breach. And now we have, you know, gender-neutral dorms. What did we fight for? My senior year, I began to wake up politically because Bobby Kennedy came. Bobby Kennedy came to Stump Jack. And maybe a lot of you folks were Nixon folks, and that's great, and I know Nixon had a lot of supporters. But when Bobby Kennedy came, at that moment, I think he was up at the mayor's office up there, and I just saw him, the sleeves rolled up, you know, it inspired me into politics, I have to say, from that time. And then, of course, things changed. Most of it were the males were in the ROTC. I mean, we would fill the sunken gardens when we would march. And a lot of us went off to different assignments. Fortunately, I went with my buddy Jim Porak to Fort Lee, Virginia for 3 years. And others went, some of us were domestic, again, sort of on the edge of the Vietnam War. Some of us didn't actually showed up there, and some of us didn't have to. I had the option of going to law school rather than continuing after my 3 years, and that was a gift, certainly. And then I remember in the Army, talk about waking up, when I walked past the Capitol to view the coffin of John F. Kennedy in 1963. And at that point on, as you all lived, we all lived this together, life changed in America in dramatic ways. By the 25th, we were maybe living in quieter times again, or the Reagan years. When I came back, I asked myself, it's very strange to come back after you've been a student someplace and then have to be an adult. And realize, and then you didn't make it any easier. A lot of you kept, bringing up things about me when I was in college that I had to sort of, well, no. And then I had the duty to tear down the lodges. I must say I did tear down the Pi Lam Lodge. I pointed it out, and the SAE Lodge, and maybe the Lambda Chi, in order to build the Student Center. But the Student Center now is really the social center of campus. It's no longer for the fraternities and sororities. So, in that sense, that was an evolution, I think. In addition to that, I think the most important observation about my time is the presence of Title IX. What happened to the opportunities for women in colleges, including this one, is really quite dramatic. For across America, the athletic possibilities, which generated, I think, social and just political and career opportunities for women at that point was very clear. And so it was such a change for when we were all here. And all these, they always used to say the women were smarter than the men at William & Mary. And so now all these women are not only smarter, but they're also, as athletic. And that has made a permanent change, I think, across America. I'm sure we probably have as many NCAA participants on the women's athletic side as we do on the men's, even though we're obviously very proud of the men's side as well. And so that's another big change. Now, where are we now? I just would conclude with saying, I'll now go back to my president's kind of role, pull it out, out of the emeritus pile and say, how does this college changed? We were about 2,000 students in 1957 when we graduated. We could graduate here in this, beautifully in this amazing place. And now we're 8,000. We're about at least three and a half times as large. Oh, good. Here's all the students listening because they can't believe this, right? Right. You're saying, oh my God. That's the way it was. So now we have about 8,000, and it isn't just the size. The beautiful thing about William & Mary is that we've managed to maintain, the illusion that we're small. Because of this campus, really. The campus is indispensable. The architecture of this place is really the story of this place in many ways. But we're now 8,000. We have distinguished programs at the graduate level. My job, I think, 25 years ago, was to make sure William & Mary recognized it was a university, not a college, even though we're called a college for inevitable historical reasons. And so we have now a law school, which is in the top 30. In our day, it was in the basement of Bryan Dorm, if you recall. And everyone was keeping quiet because they were afraid the legislature might zero us out. There was no MBA program, I believe. Now we have one that's in the top 50, top 40 maybe. And this brand new facility we were at last time, which is going to push it up much higher. We have PhDs in physics. We have a distinguished program in education at the doctorate level. And we have more students, of course, at the undergraduate level, all of whom, it seems to me, make their way quite well in the world, including, and I was proud of this, the fact that we had our first Rhodes Scholar 25 years ago. Now we've had numerous Rhodes and Marshalls. Since then, we focused on that, and our students are standing up to the toughest competition. There are, in this, it's true to know, there are 5 in the rankings of public universities. We're in the top 5. We're in the top 5 public universities, not colleges. We're not talking Amherst and Williams, even though as wonderful as they are, and that used to be our image. Now we're up there with UNC Chapel Hill, with Berkeley, with Michigan, with UVA, and we're number 5. And there are a lot of great state universities. I don't even need to everywhere you know who they are, that don't make that list, or they come behind us. So that's quite a thing. And I should say, in conclusion, to tie up with our gift today, is that this place is so underfinanced. How we do it, how we get these rankings, is really quite remarkable. And we have to be the most efficient operation in the history. I see Bobby nodding there because she's been on the board for a while, and you know, every year cut more, and so and we manage to keep cutting, and the quality keeps going up. Now this is a bad formula. We don't want to tell this, because the ultimate answer is don't give us anything and we'll be number 1. But I don't know, we can't cut anymore, so that's why we need to do what we do. And this class, I think, given its size in particular, to produce the amount and support that we have is quite remarkable, and we ought to be very proud, and certainly I am, and so thank you so much.